yeah, while you are still enjoying your dinner or dessert, right, please do it quietly. In the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to play some video that we collected from former students of Professor Jason Cong, and because they cannot be here in person. So after that, we have ad hoc, so impromptu. Whoever wants to come up and say something, so feel free. Okay. So let me play the video. Right. First one is Jie Fang. Right. He's a PhD. He got his PhD in 2001. Right. Actually, we have a lot of overlap with me and Song Q. Right. So very fun guy, and he currently is a senior principal engineer in Broadcom. Right. So he works on data rounding.
Hi, this is Jake Fan. I'm Professor Jason Kong's PhD student from 1995 to 2001. Jason has guided my study with his wisdom and nurtured my research through his patience. He has been my role model through his hard working and persistence. Although after graduation, I did not work in the academia or the EDA industry, I worked in the chip industry. I feel I benefited tremendously through my experience in UCLA VSI lab under the guidance of Professor Jason Cong. This Lifetime Achievement Award is well deserved for Professor Kong's significant contribution in advancing knowledge and understanding in EDA physical design. By the way, a fun fact, one of my first papers was published in ISPD 99 titled Via Design Rule Consideration in Multi-Layer Maze Routing Algorithms.
Wow.
Congratulations, Jason. Thank you.
De Ming got his PhD from UCLA under Jason in 2005. Right? I think he joined right about I graduated. So he wished he could be here, but he's in Singapore now. He has some very modern role in Singapore. Right?
Hi, Jason. Big congratulations for winning this Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm very sorry that I cannot attend this celebration in person because I'm currently in Singapore, but I'm joining this wonderful event virtually, and I will eat some good food tonight to celebrate this year. So in the past 3 decades, we have witnessed innovations and breakthroughs coming out of your research lab, spanning many different aspects of physical design, not only on conventional interconnects, but also on designs with emerging technologies like RF interconnects, 3D designs, and even quantum entanglement. Such a wide range of contributions are unprecedented and outstanding. Okay. So on the personal level, I'm very fortunate to be part of your lab. I truly appreciate all your advice, mentorship, and friendship during my PhD years, as well as my time here at UIUC. And UIUC is very proud having you as the distinguished alumnus, and of course of us here today are so proud of you. Congratulations again, and have a wonderful celebration.
All right, next is Yan Zhang. I think Jason mentioned Yan today in your talk, right? She got 3 most influential paper award, but couldn't get a job for 3DIC because it's kind of like a little ahead of time, right? But she is doing very well. She's doing very well. She's senior manager at Google, right? Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yan Zhang, and I'm currently a software engineer at Google. But today, I'm speaking not as an engineer, but as one of the many students whose life was shaped by Professor Jason Cong. I had the incredible privilege of being Jason's PhD student from year 2000 to 2006, and I'm beyond excited to celebrate his well-deserved ISPD Lifetime Achievement Award. Professor Cong is more than just a legend in the EDA field. He's someone who genuinely invests in his students. I still remember meeting him for the first time in Beijing about 25 years ago, when he interviewed me for graduate school. I have to admit, I was pretty intimidated. After all, it was Jason Cong. But the moment he smiled, his warmth and calm presence instantly put me at ease. Even though I eventually pursued a career in the tech industry, the research and problem-solving skills I developed during my PhD years, thanks to Professor Cong's guidance, have been invaluable. He guided me every step of the way and has had a profound influence on the person I am today. Professor Cong, you have been an extraordinary advisor, mentor, role model, and friend. This award is a true reflection of your brilliance, your generosity, and the incredible impact you've had on so many lives, including mine. And a fun fact, my husband was also one of Professor Cong's PhD students, and he published the paper at ISPD in 2003. Congratulations, Professor Cong.
That's beauty. Okay. Next is from Zhiru. So he got his PhD in 2007, and he's a associate professor in Cornell, IEEE fellow, doing really well. FPGA, I'm sure you met with Jason last month, right?
I'm Zhiru Zhang from Cornell. I just want to take a couple minutes to say a huge congratulations to Jason on this well-deserved ISPD Lifetime Achievement Award. That's kind of wild to think about, but it has been 20 years since I did my PhD with Jason. Actually, I published my first paper right here at ISPD. Since then, I've done a lot together with Jason. We started a company, we collaborated on large grants, and we played years of badminton, sometimes as teammates and sometimes against each other. And through all of this, I've learned so much from him. In many ways, Jason has shaped the way that I think about research and beyond. Just to mention a few things that have really stuck with me. So one, solve real problems. Papers are great, but making a real impact is even better. Second, design drives design automation. That's how you get to discover real problems. Also, if you build a tool, actually use it. In other words, eat your own dog food. Also, try to be real patient with students. Honestly, it often drives me nuts when I see a student only focus on the trees but ignore the forest when approaching research. I actually certainly did that a lot as a PhD student. But Jason never seemed disappointed, or at least he managed to hide it really well. Of course, there are still many other things that I haven't quite mastered yet. For example, telling a good joke in a talk. We all know that Jason is so good at this. Another thing I want to mention is that somehow Jason has this amazing ability to ask a great question even after dozing off in the meeting. Yes, I'm joking. Just to be clear, Jason never falls asleep in the meeting. See, I'm still working on the joke part. Okay, so Jason, huge congrats again. You have been an incredible mentor, and honestly, a big reason when I came back to academia. I still learn from you, and I hope to keep learning from you for years to come. You are such an inspiration. Thank you.
All right, next is from Guojie Luo. He got his PhD from Jason in 2011, and currently he's a professor at the Peking University. Although actually he's doing a lot of ISPD physical design, actually he's very well known in the, I think there's some international Olympia for the computer science contest. He led the Peking University to win world champion for quite a number of times, right?
Programming contest.
Programming contest. Right? Anyway, he's a coach. He's a head coach over that. All right, so let's go.
Congratulations, Jason.
The SPD Lifetime Award is a well-deserved recognition of your impact on the physical design community. I still remember how your CS258 course brought me into the world of physical design. It didn't just teach algorithms, it challenged us to redefine the boundaries of EDA. Our co-authored SPD 2008 paper, Highly Efficient Gradient Computation for Density Constraint Analytical Placement Methods, remained a highlight in my career. And through participating in the SPD competitions, I learned that true innovation emerges where theory and practice converge. You have redefined what a great scholar can be, a visionary scientist, an inventor, and above all, a passionate educator who inspires generations to think deeply. This award honors not just a legendary career, but a lifetime spent pushing the impossible into reality. Congratulations again, Jason. Thank you for lightening the path we walked today.
Next is Zhe Cheng. He was a postdoc with Professor Cong. He graduated a few years ago during the pandemic. So I think he's currently in a high-tech company in Irvine. Yeah.
Congratulations, Jason, for the Life Achievement Award. Cannot get there in person, but really want to send the message. I remember once Jason told me that doing research between the supervisor and students like playing the baseball. The supervisor keeps throwing the ball, like some research topic ideas to the student, and the student on the other side trying to hit the ball and get scores. I'm not sure how many scores or balls I missed along the way doing research with Jason, but I really appreciate Jason's help and challenge along the way. I think it's also the reason a lot of students in Jason's lab can get high quality research achievements because Jason always challenge and set a high standard.
Yeah, congratulations, Jason, again. So we are so grateful to have you, our dear advisor and lifetime mentor and friend. So, all right. So next is impromptu. Right? I think if you feel like to say something, please feel free to come up. I think Yao Wang has prepared something. Right? You can.
Marty. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, CK? Okay, CK, go first. Thanks. What a similarity.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Jason for this nice Lifetime Achievement Award. So that's the main reason when Iris invited me to give an invite speech, and
You're not in the video.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Okay. So when Iris invited me, so I feel very happy because I get a chance to come to witness Jason's award. Okay. And Jason, when he graduated, we noticed, so we tried to recruit him. And that time, we got a very, very nice letter. And I still remember David Liu wrote a letter for him. I could not remember all the details. Even today, my memory could betray myself. But what I remember is David Liu said that this is a student. I would consult him with different issues. That different from typical student I would consult with. That impressed me very, very much. Then later on, Jason decided, okay, even before we offer him the letter, offer him to come to UCSD, but he decided to go to UCLA. So that time, Professor T.C. Hu was a little bit upset. He said, he knows this kid is going to be a star. This kid has potential. He was disappointed. And later, I invited him to give us a distinguished lecture. In that lecture, the key concept is he tried to propose this idea to have one chip with many, many special different functions. Each function is specialized for each purpose. Then, doing this way, you can save power because you can specialize components. So this time, we want to save as much power as possible. Then there was one audience in criticized him. Okay, on a CPU, on a chip, all are made of transistors. Transistors are made of memory and the data path. What else can you have? Right? Just he argued that there is no specialized components. That time, I just wonder what happened. Okay, then Jason responded. I still remember. Even he said, okay, I could not give you exact example, but for us, we know for human being, some work as carpenter, some work as a teacher, and some work as a doctor. We all are human beings, but we can specialize on different things. Okay, so it's a wonderful response. So it demonstrates Jason's wits. Okay, so Jason is not only good at the research, he's only very, very nice. You can see all the students he just educate, and all are very successful, and with a very wonderful wits. Okay, congratulations.
We have to follow the seniority.
No.
He already said.
Really?
No, really very senior. Oh yes. See, we well
prepared.
Wow. Okay. Music.
So you saw that I have quite a few slides. So because of time limitation, I have to just probably that I should go through the slides very quickly. Yeah. Jason is my academic uncle. I also honored to be part of the family. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This my first virtual encounter with Jason in Martin's class. Martin shows some great work from Jason and also caused by Martin. And I think Martin just showed this paper, right? The 3 or 4 layer channel routing, and also the over-the-cell channel routing in the PD class. And actually, they were adopted in my physical design class in Taiwan in the 90s. Yeah. So my first impression, wow, how come the researchers could got this kind of explainable, probably good algorithms with very solid performance bound. That's like a miracle to me. Yeah. And really guided me to this the wonderful area of design automation. Yeah. So at that time, in my very young mind, Jason's existence is more like a god, a genius, or maybe I should say a creature with a multi heads, a very nice version of Hydra. Okay, to me, that's really my feelings. How can a researcher could have gotten so many nice things that, for us to teach for our next generation? Yeah. Okay. And my first physical encounter with Jason is actually the FPGA 96. Yeah. I published a paper on universal switch modules. Yeah. I was told that this paper actually got the highest score at the symposium. Yeah. but at that time they didn't offer the best paper award. And Jason was the session chair. So I'm not quite sure if Jason still remember what you said to the audience. Yeah, Jason first checked with me. I told him I'm graduate. Yeah. So in the introduction, Jason made the announcement to the audience. Then Yao-Wen told me that he is graduated, but I haven't checked with Martin. It is sure. Then after the presentation, I got all the interview, the invitations from Bell Lab, Siemens, Apteo, and so many companies. And it's more like my career changing moment. I almost took the offer from Bell Lab, but then I decided to go back to Taiwan for teaching.
I let you graduate.
I really graduated in that year. Because in that semester, Martin told me that, well, Yao-Wen, why don't you graduate? Martin was so nice, yeah. And I still remember I replied to Martin, I will graduate in summer or something like that. Martin said, why don't you graduate this semester? I told him, there's a regulation rules. UT Austin that you have to have one more semester before after you file the graduation. Something. Okay, yeah. And again, it is my first ICCAP paper as a professor in Taiwan. ICCAP 98. And again, Jason was a section chair. Actually, to introduce my students. But at the end of the presentation, my student was so kind to answer questions. And sort of, he mentioned, my advisor is here. Something like that. And Jason told everyone, since his advisor is here, so why don't we get more questions to his advisor? So I got quite a few questions from the audience. Yeah. And also I thank Jason for wonderful guidance and also introduction. Yeah. And it is actually the beginning of my ICCAP publication track. Yeah. Till now, except the year 2012 and 2013 when I served as vice program chair and program chair. At that time, we set a rule that if you are vice program chair and program chair, you can see all the papers. All the submissions, so you are not allowed to submit the papers at that time. So that's the new rule at that time for ICT. So during these years, Jason remains a creature with a muddy head in my mind. How come a human being can make so many critical contributions in all these areas? I think we all knew Jason's tremendous contributions during the past, during the presentations in last session, right? Okay, yeah. And I was so lucky that I served as the general chair of ISBD 2011. So at that time, working with John, and after the approval, Patrick was Patrick Madden. He was the CDA chair. So we decided to, I think in 2010, we decided to start with this Lifetime Achievement Award. And starting with Professor Ernest Cook, yeah. And I was the general chair that year, 2011. And I was the steering committee chair for 2012 for the celebration of Professor David Liu Lifetime Achievement Award. Actually, in the first 2 years, we didn't call it the Lifetime Achievement Award. It was the Martin's suggestion, so we named it the Lifetime Achievement Award starting from the 2013. Yeah. So this is really the photo from the good old days. Yeah, I think that Jason, you show the photos without me. Because I was the photographer of that photo. So I have to show the photo with me to show my existence of the big event. Yeah. And I'm also thankful, actually, Professor Liu is really the hub and the key to all the famous the scholars around the globe. Yeah. So we have so many wonderful time when there is the Jason speaks, there is a party that we stay. Yeah. So that's really happened in Taiwan. Yeah. So you can see all these very unforgettable parties. Yeah. With Jason and also many well-known scholars. Yeah. So actually, I took the photo. This me. With the needle.
Can you put me in? Next time. Can you put me in?
I will do a photo chat. Okay. Yeah. And then I think the tradition really remains, even with the dead in the heaven. Yeah. It's a wonderful fireman. Yeah. So there's pictures. One Professor Martin Wang is a lifetime achievement award, ISPD last year in Taipei. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we all knew Jason's tremendous contributions to our community. Yeah. And I have to congratulate Jason again for all these big awards. The IEEE Robert Noyce Award. This is also known as Nobel Prize in Semiconductor. And also the CEDA, the IEEE CEDA and ESPA, the 5-column award, also known as the EDA Nobel Prize.
Let's give Jason a big hand.
Yeah. And again, so we are so lucky to have this opportunity to gather here to share the joys. Yeah. And we studied the ISPD lifetime achievement award. So the Jason's existence remains like a god in my own mind. Okay, yeah, I was so lucky to be part of them with some role and also the celebrations. Yeah. Okay. So Jason, I was so thankful. Actually, we talk about everything and. Including some political issues. President Xi Jinping and Chinese President Joe Biden, Donald Trump. Yeah, trust us. We all want the world peace. Okay. Yeah, and there's have done so much from Jason. I know that I still have many things to learn from Jason in the future. Yeah, I'm so lucky to be part of the family. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason.
He's determined to give you the microphone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, so back in 1995, right, a long time ago, I also have a long time ago kind of story, right, to share with you guys. So that's when I was like first year graduate student, a CS department, trying to find class to take, right? My friends told me, avoid algorithms at all costs. Because algorithms are hard and boring, right? So I was looking at this list and CS 258F, right? Physical design. Oh, it's not algorithm, right? So let's take that class, right? I was wrong. It was all about algorithms. And of course, the rest is history. Now, the best thing I learned from Jason, right, is his pursuit of rigor and elegance in algorithm design. I mean, it has like profound impact on my personal life and academic life and all that. So every time I try to solve a new problem, I want to solve it as elegantly as he has. So that's a bad thing I learned from him. Right? And then as a fellow, professor in academia, I have a bit of a complaint to him. Right? And that complaint, right, is I want to be like him, right? But then he raised the bar too high. So I'll keep on trying, but then we'll see what happens, right? But again, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Patrick.
right, hard to follow, and you can sort of tell a little bit about Jason by all the successful people he's advised, and me too. So he has an open mind. Even the random kid who applies to a bunch of graduate schools gets rejected by all the safety schools, and somehow winds up at UCLA, and gets pulled into design automation, physical design, and gets to do something pretty darn cool. And strange family, but family. Uncle Martin, tremendous. And all my cousins, Yawen. You notice I didn't follow Yawen because I'm smart. Some kid never follow Yawen. Never do that. And then Brian and Kathy, one of the things that I got to do, so they showed a picture of the ISPD 93 proceedings covers. My wife did the sketch on the cover. And Jason and Brian were the organizers, which means the grad students did all the work. And did lots of things that I think were interesting and impactful, and really sort of shaped what I did with my career. And so I'm very appreciative for everything that Jason did, and the doors opened. We did different stuff, went different directions, but very satisfying, very interesting, very good career. And I greatly appreciate the opportunities and everything that's happened. And the only gripe, so we're working on papers. I'd come into the office and we'd show him printout. He'd scatter the papers sort of halfway across the desk and write notes across like 7 sheets. And then I'd go back to the lab and I'd have to like puzzle fit. What the heck was he talking about? I got 3 letters here, 4 letters there. It's all combinatorial optimization. That's where I really got a love of combinatorial optimization, is figuring out what I was supposed to do to fix a paper. So anyway, congratulations. I think it's well-deserved. Greatly appreciate this tremendous family. I think I've had a number of ISP papers. One of my most sinus papers is the lowest ranked accepted paper 1 year, so that's an achievement. Everybody hated it. It still got in, and it still gets cited, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, congratulations. Thank you very much. Who's next? Sean. Oh, dude. Yeah, Sean. Another one of my brothers are cousins, I don't know.
Hey everybody, my name is Xiao Jian, Steven Yang. I graduated from UCLA in 2002, but not directly from Jason's group. My advisor is Majid Fazadeh, some of you may know. But Jason was in my PhD committee, so he's my half advisor. And when I was doing my PhD thesis, I got a lot of good advices and a lot of tough questions in the final defense also. But really thoughtful, very thoughtful questions. Jason and I also we started the company called Neptune Design Automation back in 2011. And it was Jason's amazing idea, how do you do FPGA place and route in an extremely fast fashion. We actually developed placer and placer router is like 50 times faster than IC. At that time, it was still IC, and with great vision, and it's actually used. And 2 years later, we got acquired by Xilinx, and then our placer is still today used in Vivado for the largest Xilinx device. So I was really grateful, thankful for Jason for this great idea, brilliant idea. About Jason, I would say everybody knows Jason is extremely smart, highest IQ. I would add Jason has highest EQ as far as I can see. I'll give you an example. When a lot of people gathering either in conference or other scenario, and no matter Jason would care about everybody's feeling, and no matter how junior the students are, Jason would really spend some time to the students, to talk to everybody. That really shows how caring Jason is for everybody. It's really very impressive. Anyway, so really thank you, Jason, and congratulations, and you really well deserved. Thank you. And also I want to add, one of my colleagues, Dr. Pei Chen Pan, some of you may know, he cannot come here, but he asked me to say congratulations to Jason. And Pei Chen and Dr. Pan and Jason actually co-worked on 3 of 4 startups today. Brian mentioned. Thank you for mentioning all the startups, including that team and 3 other startups. So congratulations again. Thank you.
Auto wrong, right? So maybe say something. Yeah.
Sorry, I should speak after.
We're doing random order. In fact, among all students, I probably have the longest overlap with Jensen. Right? The reason is that because after my PhD, I worked for 2 years, then I moved back to UCLA. But I was told I couldn't go to CS department until Jensen retired. But it will never happen because officially I'm retiring from UCLA. But then, just news for everyone, right? If someone wants to take my position at the E department, you can apply because UCLA E department is going to have opening for a senior professor this year. Usually, in fact, right, when I look at my past, right, no matter each step, no matter where I go, right, I can feel the Jensen's influence everywhere. Right? For example, I know Brian and Casey long time ago. Right? In fact, Brian wrote my reference letter for applying to UCLA. Yes, and in fact since then I think that Brian and Casey is our friends. They even visited my first home long time ago. And with this, I'm not good. Another thing is that for ISPD, right? Kind of I'm away from EDF for 10 years, right? But ISPD at the time, right? The physical design workshop was the very first conference I attended in the US. At that time was in Virginia. Without further ado, I just want to say, congratulations, Jensen, and well deserved. Thank you.
Oh, jump, yeah, sure.
I'm not part of Cong tree, but I still, learn from Jason and benefit from Jason. So when we talk about the technical contributions we have this in the presentations today, I'm talking one more. So we'll talk about excellent papers. There can be different criteria, right? Like a best paper award or industry adaptation. So today I will add one more criterion. Some paper you read it once, you remember for life. You never forget about it. So this is one Jason's work I read. That is about routing. So for routing, we'll know that a typical approach is repub and reroute, right? But people have this, I would say, the mount-side restrictions that at any time we keep one connection for each net, right? And Jason had a very smart idea called iterative deletion. So it started with the redundant routing, and then iteratively delete the net. When I read that paper, I was really amazed. It's so intriguing. I just read it once. I don't remember I think it's 15 years, but I still memorize that paper easily. I don't need to review that paper. I still memorize that one. And also, Zhu mentioned about the jokes that Professor Cong mentioned. Also, Professor Cong tell good jokes. You listen once, you memorize for whole life. And those jokes are not only for fun, but also provide insights, And for example, like this planting tree in the park, right? And thanks, Professor. I use that routinely in my teaching because that helps students understand, the way, the technology, how it works, So we really learned a lot from Professor Cong. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. John is my very close collaborator. That's why I want to follow him. Another thing written is because I think when all the Jason's students finish, now it's about the third generation. The reason you just see my name in this country because I have two advisors. My co-advisor Chinko Ko was Jason's student. So that's why you saw my name again and again on the slides. The whole story can back a couple of years ago when I was. I have many stories, but the one story I want to tell here is when I was serving as the ESCL faculty Circuit System magazine. I started a series to interview the pioneers in the surgery. So I contacted Jason and said, hey Jason, will you feel comfortable to get an interview with this magazine? So Jason actually sent an email very nicely saying he doesn't feel like it's the right time for him to get interview because he thought many junior good people in front of him should get an interview. So he suggested a good name. So we start with actually the David Liu as the first interview pioneers in the community. I really feel like I was so lucky to actually interview Dave at that time because we actually sent the final version of the interview on a couple of days before he passed away. So he did actually see the review, but he did not see the review officially came out. Okay? So I feel lucky or unlucky about this. So this is actually, if you look at this whole trade, the many good characters have been passed to the different the following generations. A couple of years later, I have a good student, Lin Hao, who was also on the slides. After he finished the PhD, he asked me about where he wanted to pursue the postdoc. I told him you may want to go to Jason's group. So he actually spent 4.5 years right there. It's quite a long for the postdoc because I feel like he needs to learn many things from Jason, not just technically, but also many other things that people just mentioned it. And he did a good job actually. He completely changed his research direction and did very good actually for the IPGA. And starting from early this year, he joined Yale University as assistant professor. I think it's a tremendous outcome as a young faculty. So much Jason for pushing this happen. So it's actually the story just mentioned has a good ending after this because before I retired from the magazine, I finally got a chance to interview Jason. So Jason, the interview itself is a very nice written article to summarize the philosophy and the practice of Jason has made in his education career. I really highly suggest everybody to read that article. Okay, this actually published last year in January, the issues. There's something what I'm trying to say here. So if you look at all of this, there are many good characters that people just mentioned it. The hardworking, inspiration, the kindness, to the support, to the student, many things. Those characters inherited from previous generation, from Dave, passed to Jason, and get to the next generation, the third generation, such and such. And you can really see people actually inherited those good characters, year by year, generation by generation. So here, what I'm trying to say here is that I pretty much believe these are good characters, and also the legends created by Jason will continue year by years and generation by generation. Congratulations.
Well, I've seen many names in person. This time when Jason said you should join us, I said of course I will join.
Then the time I think the first time I see Patrick, I read Patrick's paper when I was doing PhD from 2012 to 2019.
They're better papers. They're better papers.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very like, and I asked Patrick, how did Jason look like? You are the first batch of student. I'm like the latest batch of student. Patrick said, he's different. So I was like, how different? So maybe I can tell my story, then you can see, Patrick, how's that different? Maybe the same. So the first story I want to share is like I think in 2012 I joined as a master's student in EE department at UCLA. At that time I think I want to pursue a PhD, but I do not know how to do that, so I need to get an advisor, like an academic advisor. So I search, and the easiest way to do it is like sort by the citation. And then I said, UCLA is a very good institution, right? And there are so many like great professors with high citation. But then this doesn't work. I should search by my like research interest. So I searched the keyword. I'm super interested in digital logic design at that time. So I just searched digital circuits design. And then Jason's name pops up and said, okay, I should reach out to Jason. I should impress him. And then I took Jason's class. That's called EE 259. So that's like a research domain-specific computing class. And took that class. And then I think I did so hard to learn all those new techniques in one semester. It's like the knowledge infused to my brain in one semester. And almost every day I have to be in the lab in the common research area at UCLA up to 2 a.m. for a whole semester. And then finally I come up with this algorithm better than anyone else in the class. I said, Jason, can I join your lab? As a master's student first. And then Jason, yeah, of course, yeah, master's student, top 1 student. We should give her a chance, right? So, but then I said, well, that's great. I'm like the master's student only in the research lab. And then how can I further advance my theory and also the design and also those things? So I spent another summer working on this coarse-grained reconfigurable architecture design. And then there's a bug, I do not know how to solve that. And so keep reporting, daily reports, sending to Jason saying, oh, this is something I find, this is something fine. He said, this is like a first-year graduate student. And Jason is very patient with me and then saying, oh, you should try this, you should try that. I just cannot imagine, as a senior professor like this, I communicate with students every day. Because I keep sending daily report and then he will respond to me. Right, I cannot do this now, but Jason did that for me, and then that's oh, I should continue my study with Jason. But then suddenly, the expectation is that now you're a PhD student, because I transferred from master program to PhD, and it's totally different, because as a master student, you just finish your coursework, you finish project, but as a PhD student, you should come up with something new, with your own novelty, right? So it took me so many years, I think 2 years, yeah, to publish these, I call that my first truly innovative papers in FCCM. But the topic at that time is that Jason said, we have all those fully pipeline design with pipeline initiation interval as X1 or 2, but can you give the optimality analysis in terms of the energy consumption for these designs? I said, of course, I can do that. Energy pipeline equals 1 is always the optimal. It gives the highest throughput, gives the this lowest latency. It should be the best. But Jason keep asking me, prove it. Mathematically prove that. So that the chasing for the optimality is in my head. Also, again, I kind of had this nightmare in the middle of the night and said, what's optimality? I should come up with this approval. You can disapprove something by just one counterexample, but you cannot. That's not approved, right? So I got a fever, and then I went to the emergency, and then, but the second day, the problem solved. I think that's this is the training. I think it's we have always pushed ourselves to somehow, so that we understand this question to the most. So that's where or when I start to think about, oh, I can prove something to the optimality. And I'm confident to solve the future new questions because I have this kind of failure and then success and then failure and success. So this takes time, but eventually it will go there. So the next time when I now have my own PhD student, right, is that, oh, so sorry, professor, I get some like 10x slowdown, or I get some like worst result or bad result. It's like bad result is a good result because you find something, and you can always learn from those design and then drive the design automation. So I said, oh, it doesn't, just takes time. Just keep working on that and then keep chasing for the optimality. And with that methodology, you will get there. And then I want to share another little story is that, because this is, I think Jason gave me like how I didn't learn from this because Jason told me you should do this, you should do that. I would always learn from seeing what Jason is doing. Because Jason is like doing this proof optimality during the weekly meeting, during our like email discussion, during all those like discussion with others. So I kind of like learned that from me, like just being with him around for 7 years, right? But then someday I said, there must be something different. There must be something different. And then that's, I think, 2018, like Jason got back travel from, like, in China, there's a conference set up in Chengdu. And then Jason came back, and there was a trip report for students and also for Jason. There's a trip report. And Jason said, guess what I have also? Jason said, I visit Dujiangyan. And it's I visit Chengdu. I visited many different places in Chengdu. And guess what what's the most impressive thing I learned in Chengdu? I said, is that good food, spicy food? That's the best spicy food, Chinese food. And or giant panda, like they have always the world class, like for the environmental protection, also for the animal protection. No, that's not that. Jason said, I took a walk to the Dujiangyan and then think about that. That thing is an irrigation system that's for flood control. It's been there for 2,000 years. And now it's still impacting everyday life in Chengdu city. Can we, as a group, come up with something that's lasting for 2,000 years? At that moment, I did a quick calculation. We have 50 students, and we need to contribute 40 years impact to sustain the 2,000 years impact. But that moment, I feel like I got struck right in the head, and that's the aim for the optimality and also a big aim for the long-lasting impact of work. So thank you, Jason. I learned so much, and I feel so grateful to be your student, and you bring us all together. I feel like you will, it's like an academic father to me. Yeah, we also have the group chat, and then the group chat nickname will be father, right? So thank you, and I hope you enjoy tonight and also enjoy the time with everyone.
Looks like we have the room, and originally dinner is 8:30. Right? I guess we can keep going, right? Until they kick us out. Who else wants? Yeah. Actually, you just came here for the banquet and commemorate with several of his students and students. Right?
Yeah. So
my head count for the for that spreadsheet for that tree growed by like 15%.
yeah. So I think I'm the first to speak for the second generation from Jason's academic family. I just want to share a few small pieces of stories that I had in the past with Jason. The first is actually when I was studying my PhD program at UCLA. I actually learned from, I think, Guojie, because we are very close friends at the time. So he once told me that, my advisor had a very strange or interesting requirements for graduation. It's just not based on the paper count, like what most of the PhD advisors would require, maybe minimum of 3 papers, 4 papers. But there are alternative ways you can satisfy the requirements. I said, what are requirements? And, okay, you can either get a tool that's been develop a software tool that can be downloaded for over 100 times. That will count. Or if you have a paper that got cited more than 100 times during your PhD program, that also counts. So I think, that's very interesting. So that's, you are basically measuring not just based on the number of papers, but also based on the impact. So I think actually I learned a lot from that kind of criteria. I also, now ask my students, it's not just the number of papers that count. It's also the impact, how people would think about your work that sometimes matter more. Then, I graduated, I think, a couple of years later, or not a few years, I think it was in 2017, when there was, the Nature, actually, they released they developed a new journal called the Nature Electronics. So I know the editor at the time, so he was asking me, maybe you want to write the first perspective paper for our Nature Electronics. So I said, okay, we think about it, and then we had this very vague idea of because at that time neural network AI was very popular. People are thinking about like compression, making them smaller, but there was no formal analysis of the scaling law between the machine learning algorithms versus scaling law of the semiconductor industry, like the semiconductor. So we're thinking maybe we should kind of develop a paper that try to see, hey, do we have a gap between those scaling laws? But that's a very big paper. So my students were quite worried that we cannot really get this. So we collect a lot of paper, like a lot of literature survey. We did analyze a lot of data, and then came up with a paper, a draft. And what impressed him a lot was like when Jason, actually we discussed this with Jason as well. We had this kind of a lot of interaction during this development of the paper. But when we sent the paper to Jason, he read through the entire paper, like with every detail, lots of comments everywhere. And then even in some, I still remember there's one figure, and there are 2 data points that seem to be outliers, not by a lot, like large margin, but just slightly. And Jason raised the question that why are these 2 points like not in line with other data points? Why the trend not strictly following the? Can you maybe spend some sentence to explain that? So my students said, wow, he spent so much time in this single paper. Like, how could he have time handling all the students, all the papers? So so that actually means that really Jason is very very a person that goes to all the details in academic, in helping the students shaping up their all the papers, all the works. And also because of that, I think all my students, they were here. I think half of the, I got now about, I think maybe 9 students in academic now, being professors in the US and in China. Maybe half of them are here. Most of them, they actually trusted Jason more than trusting me. So one example being that when they wanted to make the final decision on which offer to take, usually, they would go to Jason to ask for his suggestion, okay, which one shall I take? And that usually carried more weight than what I would recommend if there was discrepancy. So again, thank you, Jason, for your collaboration and support over the past many years, and congratulations again.
Yeah, maybe if no more, Jason wants to conclude something?
No.
I think no one should have. Maybe okay.
I'll just say a few words. Actually, I think Jason to me is feels like a very, very remote star in the beginning, and then we're getting closer and closer. And I want to share a story. It's actually before I joined the Davis Group in 2003. Even before that, the first time I heard Jason's name was from my friend, my very, very dear friend, who also worked at IBM at that time. And he mentioned to me, hey, you should look at this Jason guy, professor in UCLA, and he's doing pretty well. Like he has this routing, doing very good routing work, and he had a company, and he sold the company. So that kind of gave me the first impression, right? Because at that time I wasn't really in the research field, right? So I just started IBM, and so guess what? What's the other person he mentioned to me? His name is Jason Huang. And basically, he said, okay, you should also look at that company. Jason Huang is like NVIDIA, right? So it turns out, I become like Jason's family, and I work for NVIDIA. So I think, my friends is really he says things really accurate, and very predictive. So since then, right? So I joined the Davis Group, and we did a lot of work in physical design, and I feel like my distance to Jason become closer, and Jason actually helped me a lot on many different issues. Like I remember there's a discussion on faculty positions, and Jason actually recommend startup opportunities to me as well. We also co-author papers, and now we also collaborate on AI for design problems for other. It's really an honor to be able to here today at ISPD, which I published my first paper in 21 years ago. And so it's such an honor to be here and sitting between Jason and Martin. And so it's like, okay, great honor, and so great to see all the people here. We collaborate a lot, and I hope everybody a very successful year and in the future. Yeah, hopefully to collaborate with all the people here. Thank you so much.
Conclude?
I just want to say how fortunate I am that having such a wonderful set of mentors and collaborators, friends, and more importantly, many talented and inspiring students. That I think I learned as much from the students and as they do from me, probably more from my students. I still remember that Richard Newton was giving that keynote speech, and I was in San Diego when San Diego Convention Center was just started, which is just restored, having that, and the background was Colorado Bridge, was a fantastic setting. He said exactly the same thing I want to say today, which is that it's really the students who extended my vision and the experience, and so for that, thank you all for being here and sharing your experience, and I'm so grateful and also feel so fortunate that to be with this wonderful group. And, thank you again, David, Brian, and Martin for the wonderful introduction, and also the organizing committee for giving me this recognition. And thank so many of you for sharing your the words, and I'm deeply moved. Forever grateful. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jason, again. Let's do some wine here. Let's have a last toast, right? For Jason, I guess. Yeah. All right, cheers. Oh, I already some wines.
The white wine.
White wine.
With the white. Yeah. You want right?
Okay.
Congratulations.
Cheers. Okay, cheers. All right, everyone. Yeah, cheers. Congratulations to.
Thank you.
Not at that.
So you want to come into that?
Very good.
You managed to avoid getting up there. I'm telling you.
I want to keep the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I feel my respect. See you. 20 years. Memory 20 years.